Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another RGL cast. My name is Jarrett, and I'm here with Bear, and we're here to bring you Wonderwall versus Witness Gaming, a very important match early on of the season. We're wrapping up week 2 here, as both these teams are looking for a win tonight. Both teams have lost to Corsia, but beaten Global Clan, and I'm sure facing each other, they're definitely going to want to put up points on the board and make sure their leaderboard is in their favor for going into week 3.
Yeah, this should be a exciting game. I'm very happy to see my team that I'm coaching, Witness Gaming, taking on another opponent. They were able to take down Shamu and friends, which was very exciting. So we'll see what they can do here. Rakuso is going to be another Shamu veteran. So in my mind, they're on the same team, but I have to keep reminding myself that they're no longer on the same team.
Yep,
But
it's early in
anyways,
the
yeah.
season, so mistakes can be made, but we're going to be playing Metalworks this time around. We haven't seen Metalworks too often when it comes to it being it's in the pool, but not often is it picked so much. It's not necessarily a map that is unfavored by a lot of teams, but it's not necessarily the traditional process. Sunshine, maybe not Vita, sorry, but Snakewater, Gully Wash, things like that. As you can see, it seems there's a bit of a theme when it comes to Witness Gaming map bans. They very much did not want to play any sort of Koth map, and I'd say it's a little bit cookie cutter when it comes to the side of Wonderwall in terms of what they wanted to ban. Bear, what do you think about them ending up choosing this map at the very end?
Yeah, it's interesting that they decided to choose Metalworks. I would have suspected that Wonderwall would want to play some regular sort of pug style maps. I can see why Witness Gaming wouldn't want to play Koth maps as they're a newer team and they less experienced. But it's very weird that they chose Metalworks. I think there must be some secret strategies, maybe like fast rollouts from Rakuso or something like that. It is definitely a soldier centric map, so maybe they feel like Rakuso and Fruit, aka Cactus Wactus, will be able to make more of an impact than Rio and Walrex, which might be possible because they have more experience in Invite. But I think it should be interesting to see because Yosh. I guess maybe they wanted to combat Yosh because Yosh is sort of the star player, I'd say, on Witness Gaming, and playing on a map like Metalworks, it sort of takes the scout out of their ability to do very much since it's such a soldier and demo centric map. So that could have been what they were thinking of, but I'm not sure honestly. Maybe this is just their specialty map.
Maybe. Speaking of players, why don't we run through the rosters really quick for people who aren't necessarily familiar with these teams yet? Might be their first cast that they've caught this season. Why don't you go ahead and go through the Witness Gaming roster first?
Sure. So they've got on Demo Man the young Sin Karma, invite newbie. He's just fresh off the boat winning the intermediate, or no, advanced. Now it's called advanced. I'm showing my age. Advanced last season. We've also got Rio as well. And oh wait, I am very stupid. He didn't win advanced. He almost won. I thought he won advanced because in my heart he won, but he lost to Dippity. I am silly. So we got Sin Karma and Rio both off of that team last season. Destructive Criticism. Then we've got Walrex, Virgil, and Smiles who played together last season. And Walrex is on Roaming Soldier, Smiles is on Flank Scout, and Virgil is on Medic. And then we are joined by Yosh on the Combo Scout. Although I have heard that they've been switching their roster, so we may see a Yosh Flank Scout, Smiles Combo Scout tonight. We'll have to see how that goes because they were testing it out in scrims for the past couple nights. So it
Yep.
might be their new secret strategy. You want to go
Well,
down Wonderwall's roster real quick before the game goes live?
sure. The scout combo we have for Wonderwall is going to be Cap and Howard. The soldier combo going to be Cactus Wactus, also known as Fruit, and Rakuso. Their demo man is Sam, aka Pissy, and their medic is Lol Guy. Very established medic by now, playing for Ascent, probably their most maybe not experienced, but definitely the most prestigious titles been collected by him so far in that team. So both these teams, have a very nice mix of pretty experienced players have been playing for a while, have been relatively successful in Invite, and a bunch of new players that are trying to go in for potentially their first playoff appearance in Invite. So both these teams got a lot to prove, and only way you can really prove that is to continue playing on and keep collecting victories. And I'm sure both teams are looking to do that today. It does seem like we're waiting for one person to join the server. It seems like Wonderwall is missing someone, so we'll have to wait for them to show up, but I'm assuming it shouldn't be too long. What do you think is going to happen this match, Bear, in terms of prediction? Do you favor one team over the other? Do you think someone's going to edge out a little bit?
I would have to say probably just based off the rosters and prestige alone, I would say that Wonderwall is the favor going into this match. Although I would say for prediction, I'm gonna give it to my boys. I think they're gonna pull off the upset. I don't think they're favored to win, but I believe in them. I'm gonna say that Witness is gonna win 3-2. I think it's gonna be a slow match because Metalworks can lend itself to a lot of stalemates and a lot of spy and sniper plays, and I think Yoshi's gonna show his true colors playing sniper and trying to break those stalemates. But that's my prediction. I don't know. Maybe you're gonna go against me and root for my boys' downfall, but I believe at heart. Got
That's
this.
fair. That's fair. I kind of agree that it's going to be a slow match, but I think it's going to be a little bit the other way around. I think earlier you had a good point, and this is very much a soldier show. Obviously, all the classes can contribute, but this is where soldiers really get to shine a whole lot, and Wonderwall definitely has the slightly more experienced soldier pair, so I kind of believe in Rakuso and Cactus Wactus and being able to perform. I'm going to say it's something along the lines of like maybe like a 4-2 for Wonderwall, but it's anyone's game really. It's early on in the season. Everyone's trying to figure out their play styles and how they want to, play certain maps and with each other. So really anything can happen early on because not tons and tons is figured out quite yet. So who knows? We'll have to kind of see what happens. It does appear like we're slowly getting the last couple of people entering the server. So I can only imagine that it'll be within a couple minutes that we'll be going live on Metalworks. Keep in mind this is the second match of week 2, so still early on in the season. Got to get everyone together and readied up. It seems like there's maybe a small amount of issues that players are having on an individual basis. There's a lot of restarting happening, maybe some like lag or stuttering with TF2, but other than that, no serious complications that we have to worry about. But yeah, this is going to be, at least I think what it is, the first appearing of Metalworks this season. I think the other appearances, at least an invite, have been on other maps, and there hasn't been anything too crazy. It's been relatively cookie cutter, so should be kind of exciting to see how the gameplay kind of shifts compared to like the more super traditional 5CP maps, Bear.
Yeah, this map I think favors a lot more flank plays, which if Yosh is ending up on flank tonight, it might actually give him the upper hand on just going behind all the time. Because this map, the flanks are so easy to just get behind while the enemy team's pushing mid or while they're pushing into second and just sneaking in. And I think Yosh might actually be able to use that to his advantage. So that could be interesting. Maybe Rakuso will counter him, but that's what I'm looking for. I believe in him to do some crazy plays and get some 4Ks flanking behind.
Yeah, Yosh is definitely someone to watch out for. Out of all the people on Witness Gaming, if you were to pick one player that you were going to watch for most of the match, if you said it was going to be Yosh, I would not put any question to that, because he's definitely one of their more experienced players and probably going to pop off this match for their team, but the question is will it be enough? We do have all 12 players in the server. Some people are beginning to ready up, so fingers crossed that all complications that the players have been having that making them need to restart have been completely remedied, and it shouldn't be too long, I imagine, but I think at this point, all we really have to do is wait for the match to start. I'm not really sure there's too much to really go over. We do have to keep an eye out on a swap, like you said before, on who ends up playing combo and flank scout for Witness Gaming throughout the entirety of the match. You said they were experimenting some, so as the game goes on, that's something that we need to kind of keep an eye on and see who's playing with the beam and who isn't. So, but it does actually appear that we are going to be going live in this first match. Gonna be a little bit of a long rollout Metalworks is, and unfortunately, since it's the first mid of the game, there's not really too much to talk about that we haven't already, but it seems like things are relatively orthodox, nothing crazy, just normal cookie cutter classes rolling out to mid, which is just to be expected, but now we finally have the Demomen both arriving in lower, trying to put out some spam on the other team into the doorways. Not too much, maybe a little bit, but nothing to really write home about. No one is in dire health, but we do actually have Virgil blowing up immediately. That wasn't a slow fall. That was an immediate destroy coming out of the opposing Demomen, and Flawrex is going to try to go in and try to avenge his medic. You have a scout flanking in, going from drop down, trying to get on the Lol guy, but Lol guy is all the way out, missed shots galore, and they are going to collect Rakuso and a bit of a frag, but that's going to be too many people they have to run through, and they're not going to be too successful at successfully killing Lol guy there, Bear.
Wow, Lol guy's movement really showed why they won that fight. He's dodging 5 people stacking into him, and he just surfed the rockets and juked out the soldiers. That was very impressive that he didn't die. I thought Sin Karma was going to get him, but it looks like we've got a full ad going into last. This is looking like dire straits for this round. I don't know how they're going to defend this without any Uber. They don't even have a gun up, really. They have like a level 1 at spawn, Witness Gaming do. But
yep, trying to build it up as fast as they can. They have a pyro to do some air blasting if they maybe put himself on the gun or one of the doors. We'll have to see what they're doing with that, but it appears that Wonderwall's finally picking a door as they choose to go far left. They immediately drop over the scout, which is very unfortunate for them as they try to put this scout up against the gun. The gun is going to fall, but with the scout down, they don't have tons and tons of space on the map, and it's only really a gun dead. They put a scout on the point, but he's going to fall to a sticky trap and soldier combo as they bomb in, collapse on top of the red players. They are able to successfully get the combo classes of Virgil and Snow Karma, though, so it's not going to be all for naught, as RGLgg is going to successfully escape with his life. So not really the best situation to be in if you're Wonderwall, but at least, you know, you get the medic and the demo off that, so there could be incentive to push here, Bear.
Yeah, Fruit came in clutch and got that late med pick. Virgil hit a crazy surf, and then Fruit just dive bombed in and got the med pick to salvage that. Otherwise, it would have been an Uber out into mid. And as we see, I think the red team Wonderwall is just pushing into 2 off their heal advantage because RGLgg died so much earlier, so they're just going to be retaking that. I think they should know that they have a little bit of advantage since the late death on Virgil. So RGLgg is building that up, trying to turn this into a last push. See where they decide to go.
Seems like Witness Gaming's defense is going to be a little bit the same. They're still running the Pyro and the Engineer. We'll have to see if Wonderwall's Uber is going to go through a slightly different door, or maybe they're going to execute it differently so they don't necessarily drop a player this time. Going to be the same door, it looks like. They're getting ready to peek through on the left side as they double scout Uber into the gun. The gun's going to melt immediately. The Pyro tries to desperately air blast them back, but it seems to be some damage on the Sin Karma that's happening. And actually, it's a scout, going to be a scout that's going down, and instead did not expect that. But Fruit, once again, you're right, going in very, very deep, just like the same last push. He's able to collect 2 kills, one of them being Virgil, with only 1 person left alive in the former Walrex. He's going to fall very quickly, and that's going to be the first round for Wonderwall.
Yeah, Fruit's bombs on these last pushes have been very good. His timing, waiting until the Uber's over, waiting until the medic's distracted, just coming in from the flank and getting those quick rockets off. Good stuff out of him.
Yep. So 1 round on the board for Wonderwall. We'll have to see if they can keep up the pace. They had a good mid. They've had a pretty okay last push. We'll have to see if they were able to replicate it, or if Witness Game is going to have anything different to say about their medic blowing up last time. Some decent damage coming out of Sin Karma and Virgil. They're both very, very weak. Both are red health, as Virgil's able to take the pack and Sin Karma as well. But that's given up a lot of space for the red team to go feel really aggressive. They're putting some damage still onto the blue team, but it's not going to really be for anything as all, as Rakuso is going to fall. Rio coming in at the last second, trying to counter-initiate onto the opposing team, but it's not really going to lead to a whole lot.
He has 8 health. He was down to, I think, 3 health during that, hitting a crazy surf and making himself not take fall damage. I thought he was dead meat, but he just somehow managed to survive that. I think RGLgg is easily the MVP so far. Like, his mechanics have been showing them to win at least 2 fights, and the last push I think also helped out. So great stuff out of him. We'll see if he keeps it up, or maybe Yosh Sniper can put his mechanics to a test. We'll have to see.
Yep. Even though the mid-fight was a little bit sloppy this time, coming out of Wonderwall and Witness Game were able to contest, you're right, RGLgg being able to survive here is going to lead to a stalemate scenario where Witness Gaming is kind of balls in their court to try to figure out how they want to break it. Brad, no, not any off classes up on the field quite yet. Do have some teams poking around over in alley side, both maybe not so much for Kuso, more so the blue team trying to see what they can see, but RGLgg is prepared at the shutter with his team. There just seems to be peeking around just a little bit to see where things are.
Ooh, big high bomb coming out of Rio, but he's gonna fake and go back underneath. I think that's just trying to make room for Walrex, but he didn't even end up bombing. I was gonna say they're trying to spam shutter door, trying to see if they can get some spam rockets off, but RGLgg's played enough that he knows not to stand in that shutter. I saw him eat 1 spam rocket and readjust his positioning. So I don't think that little trick's gonna work, but they're getting buffed up again on flank. So we'll see. Walrex is thinking about jumping, but I don't know. It's very, very set up from Wonderwall, so it's really hard to bomb into 2 scouts looking at you like this.
Now, they got some time to execute, as they are going to do a double soldier bomb. One's going to be a fake, the other one's actually going to go in, and he's going to surf all the way into the shutter, but not going to be able to get another rocket off, and that's going to be an unsuccessful sack, unfortunately, for Walrex. Now, Wonderwall have a pick here. Seems like they might want to try to potentially push off of it, or at least make some noise for a counter sack. So they're walking through underpass, trying to initiate a soldier bomb up on top of the roof, but it's actually going to be Rikusa going in with a spoon, is not going to connect, going through a separate door, so that is going to be a bit of a noise play from them coming through underpass to allow Rikusa to get some space, but not going to be too successful there.
A very deep bomb out of Rakusa, but unfortunately the spoon did not connect. Rio's jumping in to make some space on second here, seeing what they can do. I think they're going to try and distract for Walrex here, but it doesn't appear anyone's really in place to do anything off this distraction, so I think Witness Gaming are thinking better of that and turning around.
Yeah, we expected a little bit of a slower game this time around, and it seems like this time, or at least for now, we're a bit correct in that department. We have Walrex going in for another bomb. Looks like he's going to commit this time, pop RGLgg over there, and that surf is not going to be enough to not use, as they are successfully are going to get the forces. The red team tries to see if they can get any kills in lobby, but no one's really there, so they just have to back up to their own 2. And now Witness Gaming's in a good spot for them to push. It seems like they're getting ready to push through alley without the roamer being up quite yet.
Yeah, let's see the Rakuso bomb, because Rakuso is one of those roamers that always jumps, so he's very predictable, and it looks like Yosh knows this and feels it out. Ooh, Rio bombed in a little bit too deep though. Rakuso did the whole fake bomb, but then they lost Rio on Witness Gaming, so...
Power through drop down though. He's able to get Virgil! That's a complete drop. That was complete trust in her team to be able to clean that scout that just sneaks his way through drop down, but if you hit her with the 1-2, it's going to be difficult to not drop your Uber there. As now Wonderwall is in a pretty good spot to push for. They don't have the Uber quite yet, but they do have a nice heal advantage, so as long as they can spam Witness Gaming backwards, they should be able to take this midpoint unless Walrix has anything to say about it. He is posted up on very high ground and what is known as the Batman spot. He's just chilling up there, but he is going to get shot by Rakuso and cleaned up. Not a whole lot of follow-up from his team, and I think this is probably going to be a bit of a free mid from Wonderwall, but they're in a decent position to keep going here, Bear.
Yeah, they're not even going to stack this point. They know Walrix just died, so super deep Uber coming out of cap. They haven't even had the pop here. They're just going to be taking second. Wow, that's some intimidation out of Wonderwall. Not even having to use their Uber, taking the second control point. They still have a little bit of ad if they go into last right now, but we'll see how good the tracking is here. I don't think they're going to push their luck here though. I think they're just going to be content with this point and do some sacks.
Walrix is in the forward right now, trying to cause a little bit of a distraction, but it's not really going to amount to a whole lot as he backs up. So it is going to be an even scenario. The ad is a little bit lost, but I'm sure they're rather fine playing safe in this scenario since they just got 2 free points and a medic drop, so they'll take what they can get. But stalemate scenario once again, except this time we're on Witness Gaming's last. They do have a sniper, but not necessarily anything else when it comes to their defense, holding a little bit passive, so we'll have to see what Wonderwall does in terms of trying to sack here. They are going to send Rakuso in. He's going straight on the sniper to get him out of the way, and Howard's going to get shot out of the air, so that's going to be an unsuccessful 2-man. At least in the grand scheme of things, they are able to get Yosh, so it's going to make things a little bit harder for Witness Gaming. Rio tried to do a little bit of a pogo in lobby, but not going to be successful. Walrix behind, though, able to sneak his way through, but not able to land a rocket on Lolguy, so it is going to be a counter sack from him that does not land what they want, and it seems like Witness Gaming is going to go ahead and back up to last, and we're back to square one.
Yeah, that was a great bomb out of Walrix, but unfortunately Lolguy's movement just able to juke that rocket out of him and killed himself too early, so unfortunate. You always hate to see it when you bomb in as a roamer, get the perfect bomb, and then the medic just dodges one way or the other and you can't get the rockets off. But looks like they're setting up for another sack Wonderwall. Rakusa looks like he's about to bomb in, doing that high jump in. Oh no, Virgil too close and gets dropped by the sack from Howard. This is disastrous. Howard really has Virgil's number.
Yeah, they really banked on the gun being able to shoot anyone that came to the right, but because it was shooting the soldier in the air, the scout just ran through in Howard and got Virgil again. This is the second time that Howard has dropped Virgil in like the past 7 minutes, so he's definitely being a big playmaker right now for his team and creating these advantages for him. So Wonderwall in a, once again, very great position where they drop the enemy medic and they're getting ready to push into the next point, but this time it's last, so we'll have to see if Witness Gaming is able to hold off this time. It seems like they're doing a bit of a rotation over into the left side of lobby. Might be main this time instead of left. We'll have to see what door they eventually choose, but it appears it is going to be on the left side as they know the gun's there, but a Pyro's going to meet them potentially. Yosh trying to try to air blast the 3-4 people that are brought in. The scout's going to get a little bit low, but the gun is going to fall very quickly. You have some revenge crits getting shot on the spawn, but it's not really going to lead to a whole lot. Sin Karma's going to get left out to dry because he's kind of separated from his team, but it appears that this is going to be a 2v2 situation. Never mind. I thought it was going to be a little bit more free than it was, but Wonderwall does actually take it, and that was a bit scrappy near the end. It was kind of hard to tell who was going to win that, but that's another round on the board for Wonderwall.
Smiles, he really wanted that demo frag, but he forgot the cap time and just stepped off point to try and kill the demo Sam for Wonderwall. And then out of the corner of his eye, the point just gets capped. It's really sloppy stuff there, you hate to see that.
Yep.
Really aggressive
Wonderwall
bit out of
in the
Sin,
lead.
oh my god.
Immediately blown up once again. Not only does Sin fall immediately, but Virgil's health is so low. They bomb in and they're able to get wall guide this time, which is good news for them, but them not having a demo is not going to fare well for them for continuing on in this miss. They're just going to go ahead and back up to 2, keep their uber advantage they have, and try not to be too greedy. Despite it being a successful mid for Wonderwall, you definitely don't want to see your medic get blown up, but they're definitely doing something right when it comes to putting a lot of damage on Sin and Virgil. That's like the second or third time it's happened, and actually we've only done 3 mids. I think it's been every time, but I think the fact of the matter is now is when Witness Gaming have an Uber at it they can use, and they're actually able to catch out Rakuso. Not without Baldrick's falling, though. So it's actually going to be 2, because Howard overstayed his welcome a little bit. So 5 players on Witness Gaming side pushing against the 4 of Wonderwall, and it looks like they're going to slowly give this up and go back to their own 2.
Yep, looks like we got a full Uber advantage coming out of Virgil and friends. Let's see how they can do this. It looks like Sin's getting posted up in lobby, trying to bust through. Oh, he's sticky, gets bounced back, and he just gets pushed backwards and can't actually bomb. That's always the worst, when your demo just gets blasted away. So not gonna do much with that Uber. I think the counter Uber is coming up from Law Guy, so they're gonna have to just pack it up and leave to middle. I think Witness Gaming can't really hold this with no Uber charge. Although
Unless...
Oh, Sin Karma has something else to say about that. Big bomb in from Walrex, getting some damage on Law Guy, but can't end up getting the kill.
And Yosh behind too, he snuck behind this entire time, so he might be able to go for a play in a couple seconds as his team is distracting. Yosh going in right now is able to successfully get the force on Law Guy, dropping very low. Is gonna
Great
fall,
play
but
Yosh.
definitely a good play, you're right. So Witness Gaming in a pretty okay spot. They have to worry about, getting pressured right now, as Wonderwall wants to see if they can make any noise, but you have to keep in mind that because Witness Gaming owns this point, they do get the respawners a little bit faster. I mean, they have to actually make an attempt at blocking the point, though. It seems like they're kind of hiding. Sam's doing the best he can to prevent them from coming in, but Walrex is going to be able to successfully take him out. So that's, with a demo man dead on Wonderwall, it's not the best position you want to be in, especially when the other team has Uber out, as Witness Gaming has recognized that their Uber is coming into play as they're chasing down the Wonderwall players trying to leave their own cafe. Rakus is going to stay behind to get the force doubling back, which is a very nice play for him. Fruit also behind, going to be able to get this back cap because no one was checking house. No one running forward with the Uber. Fruit's able to successfully get this Uber and get this point behind them. Howard trying to go for a pinch play. Going to be a little bit unsuccessful coordinating with Fruit, but they're able to get Yosh at the end of the day. But because of all the chaos that's going on, they're able to collect some frags in their favor and create enough noise to, keep Law Guy alive and make sure they don't get completely run down onto their own second. In fact, it seems like they're actually pushing forward a bit back on the mid here.
Yeah, Law Guy and friends don't even have Uber charge. They're just muscling their way into mid off that pick advantage and threat of Uber. So another point taken without using. I see Sticky's above choke, so I predict the Law Guy will be using here. Yep, they pop and Sam gets blasted down to the floor. So both of these demos are unable to do anything with these choke Ubers, but Caps finds a frag onto Walrex, and Rio gets caught out as well. So 2 picks with their Uber. Yeah, that's a good opportunity to push into last. Let's see if they can translate this into an actual push, or perhaps a force onto Virgil's soon coming up Uber.
It seems like they're inching forward here. They know some doors aren't necessarily spammed out. As you do have Rakuso trying to bomb in and initiate, trying to make some noise, but soldiers have spawned at a Witness game, and it appears that they've been slightly too slow, and it seems to be some hesitation. Rakuso is actually going to go in. Never mind, I didn't notice that. So he's going to see an opportunity to try to go in, going to be unsuccessful. So with Wonderwall is going to be backing up back to the doorways as Rio's trying to spam them out. Going to go a little bit too far though, but one Witness Gaming still have an Uber charge to use. They're walking through the shutter and trying to spam out. Oh, they're actually able to collect 2 kills, which I did not expect. Didn't really seem like that they were going to be able to collect too much because they were very far away, but nonetheless, they are able to collect those as Howard is behind. They're going to collect a 3rd without even using their Uber. That's 3 kills without even needing to use your advantage.
Yeah, great dry push there. Yosh got killed on the flank, and I was thinking a backup might be happening, but Lar was able to shut that down pretty easily. And Ubers are being exchanged now. This is very chaotic. This match is truly showing to be the chaotic Metalworks. Oh my god, even overextending from Sin, trying to get that kill into lobby, but I think he overstays his welcome and dies to Sam. But I think
the bomb coming in from the soldier is not going to be able to there's so many people on Wonderwall that are low. There's like 3 or 4 red health players, but they're not able to clean them up.
All red. The ball even hits, but can't quite get the kill. Yosh, truly a sad gamer right now. You saw all these players 1 health and the ball gets arrowed. So.
And with these 2 players not necessarily here at 2, this is going to be a good time for the red team to push forward a little bit. You have Walrex staying behind to try to... he's actually able to get behind. Didn't really expect that. Trying to take a 1v1 fight with a Scout, trying to make some noise. But his team is able to actually pressure forward based off the fact that some people are going back, and very nice rockets coming out of Rio, able to clear up Howard. Blue team does not want to give this up. They're trying to bust through this door and fight. Actually, Law Guy's going to die. I didn't even notice. Walrex still behind, able to successfully get a flank and kill Law Guy when he almost had his Uber, but not quite yet. So that's going to be a successful fight coming out of Witness Gaming. And personally, I want to say that's all in the back of Walrex being able to go behind and creating such a distraction.
Yeah, but in the crossfire there, they were so happy with that kill on Walrex that they just got over eager, and Virgil wasn't watching out, and the scout underneath came in. I think it was Howard again, and ended up dropping her Uber. So that could have been a full ad push into second, but now it's going to be virtually even. So
Very true.
really, all this chaos is just sowing more opportunities for Howard to come in behind and get those crazy flank plays. So yeah, I would really like to see Witness clean it up and be a little bit more hesitant, and make sure that their medic doesn't get dropped by these crazy scout plays, because that's really what you don't love to see. Like, all these squandered opportunities of full ad pushes just gone to nothing.
It's such a contrast to see the beginning, like first 10 minutes of this match, where it was very, very slow and methodical, and you wanted to take your time in all these stalemates, and now it feels like everyone's foot is just on the gas pedal, spared, sitting back and building their Uber. But it appears now we're going to go back into the stalemate that we were kind of seeing in the first third of this game. We are 20 minutes in. We do have Walrex going in for a sack play. Low guy knows better, and he's going to back up a little bit, not take too much damage. Nothing to write home about, as that's going to be Witness Gaming sack as they back up to mid, prepare for whatever Wonderwall is going to try to throw in their face this time. Seems like they're going to drop down and lower. Try to get a little bit of space. They're trying to clear some stickies, make sure they don't die to some random blind dead or anything as they begin to work their way towards mid. But Rakuso gonna go in alone. I'm not sure he really realized his team wasn't quite ready to make noise for him, so jumping into 6 players is generally not gonna lead to too much, as Witness Gaming is back in the driver's seat trying to see what they can do to get Lol Guy to force.
It is impressive that Rakuso was able to get in with that sack the many times that he did, because someone really should have been watching that top right door. Like, he's done a huge high bomb off it 2 different times
Sin,
now.
though.
And as we speak, Sin dies on the flank somehow, and then a sack comes in out of...
He was in lobby and just got 2-piped, I think, by Sam, so that's going to be a demo dead, and with that, it's going to be very easy for Fruit to get in. Getting the other medic very, very low. Virgil is going to have to pop to save her players, as there's only 2 people.
Rio.
Yeah, only 2 people left alive, 1 rolling out, and it appears like Wonderwall's going to be in a pretty good position to retake this mid without even using their Uber. They could actually even maybe leave someone and keep going. We'll have to see what they choose to do with this, but either way, this is a very good play coming out of Wonderwall, using the holes in the opposing team to create advantages.
Yeah, they wanted to stack that, I think, but Sam didn't get the memo. I think they could have actually denied Rio's forward spawn, but regardless, it's going to be a full ad push coming into second, so... Oh, and a sniper decides to negate that. Where was he even holding? I didn't even catch that.
I think he was with his team in the shutter, or maybe like watching lower, but either way, that's going to be a medic drop. They only lose their soldiers for it, which is definitely a trade you want, but Rakuso, I don't know. I'm not sure if they know exactly where he is. He's on low health, so he has to be very perfect, and only able to get 1 rocket off. Is going to die to fall damage, unfortunate, but probably wasn't going to be too successful given the circumstances. But Sin going very far forward. You guys can deal with Rakuso. I'm going to go spawn camp. I'm able to successfully kill a scout, which is probably going to factor in a little bit in being able to get this force Wonderwall, because, down 1 player is not going to be very helpful at abusing the fact that they have a sniper and their flank's a little bit open. But Witness Gaming, they have full Uber. It's kind of up to them to choose which door they want to go.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be moving towards the flank area. It's sort of the textbook way to push this valley if you have Uberad, but it doesn't even look like there's a sack coming in. A little bit of pressure from Fruit, although Rakuso now bombs deep, gets that rocket off on Virgil. He faked as if he was going to go house and then bombed again and got the force off. So great plays out of him. I mean, even as a spectator, I was thinking that they weren't going to sack just by the looks of it, but then he stumped even me and got the sack in. So good stuff out of him.
Walrex
looks like we got a counter push coming in right now. Yeah, Cactus Wactus at 39 health, trying to get an arrow, but unsuccessfully so after 2 attempts, and he just decides to go back.
And they're going to be able to pop in, but it seems like most of Witness Gaming were very, very far back. There's actually hardly anyone to shoot into this Uber, as they're going to go ahead and back up to the point, and they're just going to lock this down and take it for now. They do still have to worry about the Ghost Sniper, as well as the Uber disadvantage they now have. So we'll have to see how Wonderwall kind of play this. They're playing relatively far back, but that just might give them, the blue team, the space they need to walk in. You have soldiers starting to initiate. So the demo, Sin Karma, is actually starting to walk forward through lower a little bit alone, but it ends up being the bomb that is the thing that thwarts them, as the sniper and the medic on the blue team both die to a combo of the soldier and scout flanking around. So that's going to be a successful hold, at least for now, out of the red team. They do have to make sure that Lil Guy is able to survive here. It is a 3v2, so it's not completely out of the books for Witness Game to be able to collect more kills, but they're not going to find it, as that is going to be a complete wipe on the side of Witness Gaming. And that's a pretty good play coming out of, I think that was Fruit that did the bomb that was able to kill Virgil and Yosh, as well as I think it was Howard that that followed up on that, so very good plays by them. Howard's definitely showing up this match, but we do have Yosh. He's going for the hero shot.
Sniping. Let's see if he can hit it. No, they're too aware of it. They know Yosh is trying to take this game into his own hands and sniper, and I think Wonderwall read his card, so they're not going to let that go unchecked yet again. So full Uber ad coming out of RGLgg. Let's see where they decide to go here.
Seems like it's going to be House this time. They're poised and ready to push, but Witness Gaming, Walrex is the only person far forward. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to collect any kills, spare him, who's able to meet Howard and not successfully kill him. So they're actually chasing in the lobby a little bit. They're getting a little bit greedy. Fruit's able to get some damage, but not a whole lot of kills. As you have a lot of weak players on Witness Gaming, but not necessarily any frags to turn. Probably a little bit more that you can chew, and they're gonna back up and go ahead and say, okay, we'll take 2. That's fine. Yosh finally switching off sniper, and now Witness Gaming back in a good position to be able to retake this second point further own. Seems like they're gonna be trying to get through this choke here. The debt is mistimed a little bit, and they are gonna be successful. But we do have a flank coming in from Wonderwall, trying to maybe go for a back half. Gonna be Howard and Rakuso, but that's gonna immediately be thwarted as both of the flank players are definitely prepared for it. Rakuso gonna get cleaned up eventually after Howard, and it seems like it was more of a flank play than a force play coming out of them, Bear.
Yeah, great read by Yosh and Walrex to deter that flank play. Now they have 2 picks coming into mid, and they still have Uber, so they get the force off, Yosh does, and not even having to use the Uber is Virgil, although she's getting pressured, so she might end up, yeah, she ends up having to get forced. And she drops Sin Karma. Yeah, it seems like she's trying to milk these Ubers, but like at what cost? I mean, if you're dropping your demo man, you might as well just pop and save his life. Oh, Rio in on the back line, yeah. RGLgg's jukes this game have been very good. I'm consistently pretty impressed. I mean, he's definitely one of the better mechanical medics, but it's every single opportunity someone has to kill him, RGLgg shows you that that's not happening.
And Smiles is going to drop as well. I did not expect that. It seemed like that was mostly going to be free for Wonderwall, and Witness Gaming was just going to back up, but now Wonderwall kind of have a hole in the defense to work with. There's probably a door not really being watched, and in fact, it seemed like very much of Wonderwall is playing close at all. You have some soldier initiation from both teams trying to jump around and create space for the other team, make sure they're not landed on too much, but both soldiers on the blue team are very, very weak and have to back up. Meanwhile, Wonderwall is very, very in. They're able to get Virgil all the way down to very red health, and she has to back up all the way to resup. But at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to collect too much despite so many players being weak. A little bit chaotic, maybe not a whole lot of synchronization, but at the end of the day, it's still a stalemate scenario, so they're still in a decent spot to be able to see if they can try to force Virgil's Uber. Do you have Yosh on sniper? Kind of poking around. I'm going to back up a small amount. We do have the standard gun. And being built by Smiles once again, so...
Yeah, Yosh likes to do this defensive sniper. I don't know if it's necessarily a good move all the time, but it gets him some picks and can net some opportunities to try and pressure out of last. So as we see, he's just gotten a pick. Although Spy's cloaking right behind him. Oh no, wow. The Spy couldn't get the kill. Yosh peeks too deep and hits the miracle shot right before the Spy can backstab him. That was just watching in slow motion. Now let's see, can Virgil survive this? She's gonna get bombed. No, she's looking out for it.
The sniper got stabbed, but no one went to last. It seems like they were so excited that that medic dropped, they completely forgot the class that killed the sniper in the first place, and that's going to be a successful back cap from the Spy and Cactus Lactus, and that is going to be the round and the half, Bear.
Yeah, they totally should have known that Spy back cap was incoming. I think, yeah, the adrenaline rush of that crazy med drop, yeah, that just overrode it. I was happy to see that Virgil was at least like playing passive after the enemy med dropped and tried to prevent herself from getting forced, but what it ended up resulting in was her dropping another player, and then their team didn't even look at last and they got backcapped. So I think the determining factor here is really the Ubers from Witness Gaming. I've seen a lot of Ubers where they end up popping right after a player dies, and that is just not optimal. I mean, a lot of their Ubers are down a demo, down a pocket scout, and that's just not going to win you rounds. So I think if Virgil can step that up and her team can be more on the same page with when they want their Ubers to be popped, I think they'll be doing good things because they're making lots of opportunities for themselves. I mean, she's had Uber advantage quite a few times, but these little drop down plays and scouts coming out of the fray to drop the med, like, you got to clean that stuff up.
And we do have the stats up on the screen right now. One thing I would like to point out, we talked about how important this map was for soldiers and how much they can shine. We do have Cactus Wactus, aka Fruit, being the only KD positive soldier in the server so far. We'll have to see if that changes a little bit coming in on the next round, but I definitely want to give some praise to him because even though he wasn't necessarily the one that was making the crazy plays like Wall Guy with insane movement or Howard with a couple med drops or anything like that, but his play has definitely been consistent, and you definitely want consistent play out of your players when it comes to having a person on the combo like at all times that's able to direct your team in the way you want.
Yeah, his bombs have been very on point. Him and Rakuso on second there when they're bombing into the sniper with the Ocean Valley, both of them went completely into the skybox. Then Fruit and Rakuso just rained down terror onto the combo of Witness Gaming. So those coordinated soldier bombs are very deadly if you can actually get the rockets off on the same target, and they are showing their accuracy, and their focus fire is good enough to pretty much wipe an enemy combo just with two soldiers. So great stuff out of Fruit. I'll definitely agree that he's been helping their team a lot. I mean, those last pushes, he salvaged the medic, I think, 2 different times, maybe even a third time. So, yeah, definitely good stuff out of him. I'm happy to see him finally playing Invite. He was playing medic in Advanced last season. So it's good to see that he's making the step up to Invite and showing that he definitely is not an advanced player. I mean, he's carrying his weight. I'd say him and Logai are the MVPs of their team right now. Well, maybe Howard as well. I mean, those med drops too. But yeah, Cactuac is definitely stepping up, and I'm happy to see him.
Yep, it's always a good scenario if you try to think of your team and who are the star players and are playing really well, and it's really hard to pick one. Like, usually means that everyone's playing pretty well. We have the side of Witness Gaming, though. You know, their soldiers could be doing a little bit better in terms of collecting kills. They have a lot of deaths. It's a bit more than Wonderwall's side, but you definitely want to be able to collect as many kills as possible. You do have Smile. Smiles' KD is pretty nice. He's 18-4, but not tons in the DPM department, so it might just be cleanup duty, not really sure. But at the end of the day, the most important thing is collecting rounds on the board, not necessarily what's on the stat page. And the fact of the matter is Wonderwall is 3-0 right now in front of Witness Gaming. There's a very big deficit, and Witness Gaming definitely have to change so much, and not only where it's an even match, where they flip the script and be the ones dominating the opposing team instead. So we have this little bit of a break. You know, they can talk about what they want to change for mids and how they want to change the way they're playing. And you know, there's definitely mistakes to be had on both teams. A lot of things to mention, but this is definitely the time to do so.
Yeah, for sure. I think the soldiers on Witness have just been getting caught out a couple too many times. Like with those valley pushes, I think Rio bombed in too early a couple of times and just got cleaned up by the entirety of Wonderwall. So they've definitely just got to fix their timing. I think the aggression is there from Rio, but his team isn't quite following up at the same time, and he's going perhaps a little too early. Same thing with Walrex. I've noticed that a bunch. He's just been going for flank plays, getting maybe caught out on second as the enemy team Ubers in, and then what are you going to do? You're just a roamer behind, and it's you versus a flank scout and enemy roamer. So I think they've got to do some more heads up plays with Yosh and maybe send them both behind or just get out, because those 20 deaths and 6 kills definitely illustrates a sad story of dying on the flank a lot. So that's not what you like to see.
Yeah, I'd kind of agree. I would say there's been more solo plays than like coordinated team plays when it comes to their side. There's been some moments that have, you know, had some players on their team shine a whole lot. We saw a couple plays coming from Walrex that were pretty great, but at the grand scheme of things, if you only do that really amazing play occasionally, it's not going to bode very, very well for your team. So we'll have to see what they kind of shift. You know, they have this moment to talk about it. I'm sure they can kind of get an idea of where their problems lie. The question is how much will they adjust, and how much is Wonderwall prepared for it? Because you have to keep in mind, this entire time, Wonderwall has been talking about what they want to change to and what they might expect coming out of the other team. It's totally possible you go through an entire time thinking about what you want to change, and then all of a sudden those changes don't mean anything because the other team has completely altered their play. So it's really up to both teams to do the best they can to try to figure out what is the game plan for the mids and the entire rest of the match, really.
Yeah, I think Witness Gaming is definitely going to shift up their game. Like these stats show Smiles 18-4 with only 162 DPM. That just shows that he's not taking enough risks. Because if you're only dying 4 times as a combo scout and your medic's dying 7 times, that means you're not making enough space. So I think they're going to be telling him to be playing more aggressive. The problems that they've been having is a lot of their Ubers just don't have enough leadership, really. Like the Uber is getting popped off at awkward times. It's not very coordinated. So I think if he can take more of a leadership role and sort of like suit up and take those Ubers aggressively and force them before they get forced, force the pop off, tell his medic to pop before it gets forced and she drops someone. I think that'll be very good for their gameplay. And I think if he takes more aggressive Ubers, he would definitely do a lot more damage and have more impact because right now he's sort of just playing on the back line. And you'd like to see him doing a lot more than that DPM 162 on the combo scout.
Now, one thing to keep in mind is we talked about earlier before this match started that it was a recent change of them swapping their scout roles and putting Yosh over on the flank rather than the combo, which he's been playing since I think this team has been playing this season. So this is a relatively new change. And what are the chances, do you think, of them going back to what they're more used to of putting a very experienced player on the combo to call those types of Ubers that you're saying are so important? Or do you think they're just going to stick to their guns and try to ride with it and make the best of it?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, I think this second half is anyone's game. Like, it's definitely a uphill battle to try and come back. But I think if they do fix their issues and have their soldiers bomb in a little bit less deep and try and have Virgil pop a little bit earlier and that sort of stuff, I think they could definitely be doing better. And I don't think it's necessarily the scouts problem. Like, I don't think that swapped scouts is really the issue here. But who's to say? I mean, maybe for the team it felt more comfortable with the experienced player in Yosh being able to call those Ubers and give that leadership. So yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's all up to what the team feels. I mean, as a spectator, we can't really tell what feels natural and what the calming stuff is like. So can't really speak on that. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Maybe, I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll say, you know what, this change might have worked out in a couple of scrims, but match it's not working. Maybe we'll swap back in the second half. So yeah, it's really anyone's guess. I'm not sure.
I like that you bring focus onto the comms, because that is one thing that, despite us watching this entire match, it's one thing that we definitely can't know for certain is what the comm environments of both teams is like. And that can bring a lot of structure on, what your team is trying to do, and synchronizing your team to make sure everything's done at the same time and playing as effective as possible. So we didn't really know, like, how exactly the comm structure is working in terms of who's main calling and who's being the most vocal and who needs to make little adjustments, or even if it's even a problem in the first place. So at the end of the day, it's something that definitely comes down to the teams when they look back on what they just played, and there's not really a whole lot that we can do to decide about who's in the wrong, if there is anyone in the wrong in that department.
Yeah, for sure. I think I don't know what we're actually waiting on. They're speaking a little bit in the game chat, but yeah, maybe both teams are just trying to figure out what strategies they're gonna do. That's the only thing I can think of that'd be taking this long. Maybe there's a pep talk going on. Maybe their coach who's currently casting needs to hop in, give them that pep talk for the second half, but they'll be all right.
I think we're waiting on Yosh, who is AFK at the moment, so probably shouldn't be too long. Just have to wait a couple seconds for him to get back. It seems like
Yosh
Wonderwall
tends
is
to do
ready.
that.
Yep, very much so, but usually it's not too long. As previous teammates of Yosh, both of us, I think we both know that this isn't a uncommon occurrence, but it usually doesn't last forever, so hopefully we'll be going live relatively soon.
Definitely a temporary thing, but we always like to joke that Yosh is over at the well getting water, but hopefully he didn't fall in the well. So hopefully he can come back in a couple of minutes. I think he's probably just refreshing and getting some water, going to the bathroom. But yeah, I'd like to see how their team approaches this. The mids, as you mentioned during one of those mids, Virgil was taking a ton of damage, and the early coordinated spam out of Wonderwall was just totally demolishing that lower area on middle. So I think maybe if they even roll out backdoor with Virgil, or maybe roll out Sin top left to try and like detract from all the spam hitting in the same area. But yeah, a couple of those mids were just totally shut down in the first couple of seconds by that early spam out of Rakuso and Sam.
Yeah, those mids, both Sin and Virgil, were going down very, very low, sometimes even just melting straight off the bat. The first mid, I know Virgil exploded immediately. I think the second or third mid, Sin Karma, exploded immediately, just from the spam alone, so we'll have to see what adjustments they make, and it's definitely a very important part. You could even argue it's more important than the normal gameplay that you see going across the points, because you just definitely don't want to start the map on your own last, because it's not a very fun position to be in. So if you don't get mid down and you just keep losing mid and you start the game on your last, it's not going to be a very easy position for you to start playing in. If you make any mistake at all, losing 1 point doesn't mean just 1 point, it means a round at that point, which is not a situation you want to be in. So winning mids, very, very key.
Yeah, especially on this map. I mean, Metalworks is so hard to push out of last, even on 2 picks. So you definitely do not want to get stalemated onto your own last off those mid losses. And I think Sin Karma is going to probably try and do something aggressive. I didn't see any soldier bombs out of Witness Gaming on the first half. Really, I saw maybe like a flank play out of Rio, but no real coordinated soldier bombs. So I think that might be what they're going to try out because their mids clearly have not been working too much. It's sort of spamming and trying to see what you can get. But if you're getting counter spammed so much harder by the enemy team and then your demo or med are dying, like what's the point of spamming as a soldier? So I think they might try and do that deep mid and just try and sell out for Law Guy. Because the one mid that they did win, well, I suppose they didn't win the mid, but the one successful mid for them was when they just killed Law Guy with a huge bomb out of, I believe it was Walrex, and then they just dipped backed up to second with that med pick and then tried to push into mid with the advantage. So I think it might not be possible, but I think if I was on Witness Gaming, my thought would be, okay, well, we need to kill Law Guy. If he stays alive for the entirety of the match, we're not going to win. So I think they might be trying to focus him down on these mids. Although that said, it's pretty hard to kill him. So perhaps it's not the best strategy to try and focus this medic who's so hard to kill. So
It could
thanks,
be
we'll
a
have to see
decent
what they
plan
decide.
B. One thing you have to keep in mind, though, is that plan B going to work for the entirety of the round? Because Wonderwall have yet to really need to make any adjustments in the way they play their mid so far. So we haven't even seen Wonderwall's plan B if their medic gets sold out for every mid. So they could try to do that, but they need to make sure they're prepared for what comes afterwards. If Law Guy's too far back and unable to successfully be killed by any of their teammates, if a medic's all the way back in Val, it's usually not worth it to send too many resources to go and kill him for him, just because you're probably going to be relatively unsuccessful because he's just straight up too far away. So we'll have to see what they decide to do in terms of aggression that doesn't have to deal with them exploding trying to get out of lobby. They could take the backdoor route, like you said, go towards their own valley at the beginning of the mid, but it might get them so much, it might make them lose so much map space. It might be a bit sketchy, but who knows? They got to try something at this point, because so far nothing has really worked out except killing Long Guy, which, like I said before, that can work out, but I'm just worried about how long will it work.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, those lower mids going into the valley can be good potentially to dodge that spam, but at the end of the day, you just end up on that low ground, and it's hard to get out of that low ground. You just give up so much positioning that it's hard to do. And we're going live, it looks like, so enough about this mid theory. We'll see what they actually try and do in practice. Take us away.
We are going live into the second half of this Week 2 match between Wonderwall and Witness Gaming. So far, Wonderwall is up 3-0 when they've been relatively dominant on these mids, so let's see what Witness Gaming has decided to do during the halftime to change up the pace and put some more mid pressure on the board for them. Seems like some decent spam is going out onto Yosh and Log. I definitely don't want your medic getting too low. Rakuso is going to get jumped. He's going to fall, but not without taking down Rio as well. Virgil's going to catch a pipe from across the map, and that's going to be the medic down for the blue team. So red team in a pretty good position to just start holding S and trying to farm these blue players that are getting in. They're able to get one, but are they able to get the soldier that's bombing in at the very last second? Yosh is going to get cleaned up, and the rocket is going to miss out on Walrex with Logai surfing all the way back. It's just Sin Karma left alive. It appears he's maybe looking at some sort of trap up the stairs. He jets and doesn't quite hit Logai. That was very, very close. Just immediately killing Logai. So successful mid coming out of Wonderwall once again, and Witness Gaming are on the back foot.
Yeah, I almost wish Sin would have just bombed in with them, because off those distractions of the two flank players, he probably could have killed Ball Guy, but I think he's opting for those sneaky traps, trying to get those blind deaths. So we see a second push, relatively unfazed. I mean, not really any soldiers in position to bomb from Witness Gaming. Walrex is thinking about it, but oh, yeah,
immediately stuffed.
He peeks too deep on that door. That's not happening against two scouts and then soldier. Oh, but he baits the sniper from Yosh to get that scout pick, so
yeah, that'll slow them down a little bit. They still have this Uber ad to work with, though. They have to sit here and cap, but I feel like they're not going to risk it. It appears like they don't want to go ahead and push with the 30 ad with the scout being dead, which, is not the worst position to be in, sitting on the opposing 3 up in the second half, so it kind of makes sense that they don't want to take tons and tons of risks. They don't really have to. That's their decision. They are going to go ahead and go with this sniper route. So we're going to see actually no counter sniping action because Yosh is up on Pyro. He did swap off, and it seems like Witness Game is going back for their classic Pyro sentry setup. Yosh is actually swapping off Pyro, checking some off classes. He is going to see that there's an opposing sniper, and it looks like we're going to have our first SVS battle.
Yeah, I think they're smooth sailing our Wonderwall, so they don't really need to do anything. They don't need to force anything. Although, as we say, Yosh gets that kill on a Rakuso, so counter sack potentially incoming out of Witness Gaming. Oh, pushing the flank, Walrex is getting a second pick onto that Howard that was too far aggressive. And are they going to do anything off these two picks? I would hope that they take an exchange or do something, but they're sort of taking their sweet time, and I don't think the opportunity is going to be there for a long time. Oh, Yosh getting that deep peek, but doesn't get the kill. Yeah, Yosh always loved to peek that shutter and just go so deep to try and get that miracle med pick, but it's not happening this time. As we do see a spy out of Rakuso, the sneaky Frenchman sneaking into last right now. Let's see if Virgil can find her way around this. I mean, she's kind of hidden inside of a dispenser right now, so not the easiest to stab, but
Fruit's going in,
we'll see the distraction go. Oh no, they didn't even need a spy. That drop just coming out of Fruit. I don't know how he got in so deep to kill both the medic and the soldier with that bomb, but huge play out of him, and now the Uber's getting popped off. Full Uber ad, no medic on the enemy team. That's a free round.
Just jumped through the door where the sentry wasn't and immediately dropped the medic. That's very not great to see. It seems like there's a bit of a problem when it comes to door control coming out of Witness Gaming with their last holds, but nonetheless, that's going to be a round in favor of Wonderwall, and this could be match point, Bear. This is a very precarious scenario for them to be in.
Yeah, they gotta change something up this mid. Last mid, their medic ended up getting pipes, so huge bomb out of Walrex, almost getting the kill on Sam. He dies off the fall damage though, so great entry pick into mid. Rio is so deep.
He's gonna die to spam as well, despite that really, really nice pick. This is not a great position for Witness Gaming to be in, though. It seems like, despite the very good aggression they had off the bat, this is gonna lead to them getting chased down on their own too, desperately trying to run away with their lives. Feels like they're gonna be successful though, Bear.
Yeah, I think they just got ahead of themselves. They were too excited about that kill, and I guess Sin just walked into some spam. So that's unfortunate, and they're gonna have to do something. I mean, there's ample time left, but they're down 4-0, and so they're pressuring right now. Get a kill off to Howard, and Walrex is pressuring the flank, but ends up getting taken down. So I can tell that Yosh and Witness Gaming want to do something here, but are they gonna get a favorable exchange? They get the pop off early onto Fruit. And Virgil's just smooth sailing out to last. She's not even gonna have to pop this Uber, so.
And Sam's gonna die. Yosh is able to get to the flank, so there's no demo to lock them down. So the Uber ad is gonna be successful in being able to, maybe not actually. I thought they were gonna be able to kill Fruit behind. Okay, no, they are. They just did a little bit of ring around the rosy, and now with these picks, they have no demo and no soldier. You know, the Uber ad isn't really in play. It's very, very small, so they're just going to use these pick advantages to push in the mid. We have Rakuso trying to bomb behind a little bit, trying to create some noise, but it's not too much for Yosh to deal with. He's able to successfully pistol him down, and that's going to be Wonderwall backing up out of this mid. It's kind of a free mid. All the things that transpired is not going to lead to a whole lot. We have Howard trying to go behind for a back cap, but too much of his team has already died.
Yeah, Yosh just decides it's not worth it at that point with Howard all the way at their last, so. I think, are they going to try and push off this pick of Rakuso? I think that was an opportunity to go off that one guy behind and one guy down, but they decided not to, so I think they're just sending people back to kill Howard behind. And Ubers look like they're going to be evening out as this behind enemy line stuff is going on, but are they going to try and push mid? I mean, Wonderwall have this distraction. There's two people sending back from Howard's distraction, and doesn't quite look like it. I think potentially a missed opportunity, but they don't really need to risk anything. I mean, you know, they're up 4-0, so they don't need to potentially have a disastrous Uber or anything like that. So just pressuring in lobby, and now they're backing off and setting up for a stalemate. So pick comes off onto Howard. Ad for Witness Gaming side. Can they do anything off this number ad? I don't think they're doing anything. I mean, they're sending a sack in potentially now, but again, this is into 6 players, so you can't really expect that to work.
Yep, that's going to be an unsuccessful sack coming out of Walrex. Tried to go for the demo that time because the medic seemed like a little bit too difficult to get, so Wonderwall is going to be trying to push off this pick. We have Fruit going in very, very quickly. Gets the call that the other team is in the house. Successful force coming out of Fruit. Very nice jumps, and that's going to be a decent Uber ad for Lol Guy once again. Fruit is definitely pulling out all the stops this match. We have Rio trying to equalize a little bit. Going on a Lol Guy who was very unsuspected of that bomb. That's going to be very easy force coming from him. No one spotted Ali at all. They are very, very comfy, and now this Uber ad is kind of dwindled. They have to work off of, though, but they have to watch out for the spam. Rakuso and Little Guy, not the healthiest in the world, but not without putting damage back into Witness Gaming themselves. They have to be quick here. Rakuso's trying to jump in to create space, but immediately going to get shut down. Not a whole lot of follow-up, and it looks like Wonderwall is deciding that this is no longer something they want to deal with as they begin to back out of the dirt area through underpass back to their own 2.
Virgil actually hit, I think, an airshot crossbow onto Rakuso as he was trying to bomb, so really shutting him down. Even Ubers now, I don't believe anything's going to really happen off this. I mean, Wonderwall just decided to pressure mid, didn't get anything out of it, and backed off, keeping their Uber, not doing any risks. So they're in the driver's seat this game, and so it's really up to Witness Gaming to see if they can try and break that.
There's dry fighting.
Wow, this is chaotic.
Just ran straight through underpass with full soldiers bombing through alley. They're able to collect 1, able to collect 2, and successfully shove all of Wonderwall back. But the Ubers might come into play now. They're thinking about it, but decide maybe not after losing too many players. They could have maybe thought about doing it before they lost the second player, so definitely was not prepared for that Wonderwall so that's going to be a successful aggressive play coming out of Witness Gaming. They definitely need more things like that if they want to get their first round on the board of this match, so Cap's going to respawn, going to be back to another even Uber scenario, and you would think that you could play slow a little bit here, but I don't know. So far, Witness Gaming haven't been very, great about putting rounds on the board, so I wouldn't say that 20 minutes is tons and tons of time to work for them to work with given the scenario. So see what they do in terms of trying to gather information and get ready to pick a door to sack through.
Yeah, you notice like the way that Last is being held by Wonderwall, they make sure their soldiers are on these doors to make sure that their medic can't get bombed. The problem with Witness Gaming's hold earlier was that they just weren't holding those doors and the soldiers could get in for free. As I say that though, Cactus Wactus getting taken down by Rio peeking that far right door. And now a pick and a 2-man sack. Oh, but no one really goes in. Yeah, I would have liked to see both soldiers sacking off that pick, because that's a pretty good opportunity to sack 2 soldiers. If both of them land on Law you can just get a kill there. But they don't end up doing that, just doing the double sack with Yosh, and we see a push coming out. Law just getting in pretty much for free on the second, doing this Uber exchange.
Yeah, the exchange is happening on the bridge. Rakuso's caught in a little bit, probably going to fall during in lower, and he is, so that's going to be an unsuccessful exchange, especially with Cactus Wactus dying, and it appears Howard as well. It seems a bit of a
pick.
Yeah, it seems like there was a bit of a lobby scuffle, and Witness Gaming is able to collect 3 kills with that Uber exchange as they try to burst their way into last. They are going to lose Rio, but at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a little bit too much for Wonderwall to deal with, and that's going to be Witness Gaming's first round in this match.
Great cleanup on the flank there. I mean, the Rakuso pick was one thing, but they just shoved into that right lobby. They knew the enemy medic was nowhere near, and so they could just fight those unhealed flank players and got those 3 picks. That was great stuff. I want to see more aggressive plays like that dry fight into second. I think if they get that aggressive energy together, they can definitely do this, but they've got an uphill battle, and we see another mid coming out.
Yeah, the aggression is working for them. We'll have to see if they continue it. Sin Karma's getting a little bit weak compared to his counterpart. Red team taking a lot of aggressive positioning overall over the point. We have double soldier bombs coming in from the blue team, trying to get onto the medic or whatever is really, really weak. Not able to really find anything, though. It's actually going to be the blue team that dies off of this double soldier bomb, which is very unfortunate. Not a whole lot of focus fire or something went wrong there. But at the end of the day, it's going to be unfortunate for them as that their plans have been thwarted and they collected 0 kills against Wonderwall, who are getting this cap and trying to work their pick advantage in the valley, it looks like.
That is so unlucky. I was watching from one of those soldiers' povs, and they just whiffed an easy rocking on the Law guy. He totally should have died, so.
Exchange coming out over the point.
Uber exchange coming out. Yeah, well, this is very chaotic. I mean, Caps is getting flashed. They're not looking like they want to commit too hard, but Witness Gaming was sort of giving up their positioning. I don't know if they can really fight this point, given that Wonderwall sort of just muscled their way through after that Uber exchange.
Yep,
so great stuff out of Wonderwall.
Down.
Those soldiers are really making the plays. I mean, Rakuso and Cactus Wactus Fruitaloo are bombing in, making sure those doors are locked out, and what can an enemy team do if this soldier's just standing by that doorway ready to shoot down? So great stuff out of them. I'd like to see more aggressive trades and stuff out of Witness Gaming, because they're right now on their last again, and I don't think they want to be in this situation for too much longer. 18 minutes left. They need to win 3 more rounds to tie it. So they're going to have to peek Yosh pretty deep on this defensive sniper to try and get something.
Yep, you're technically slower, very slowly reaching the territory where Wonderwall is probably asking themselves, at what point do we turtle this? At what point do we actually, do we need to keep going? I mean, right now there's 18 minutes left, and the deficit is only 3, so you're not there quite yet. But if enough time transpires here, it's something I might think about. They're able to collect 2, actually. Never mind, you're not going to turtle when you're just given 2 free picks in lobby. Seems like they're a bit on an adventure. They're going to lose 1 to a trap, so good job locking down those doors as they continue to prevent Wonderwall from busting through, but it doesn't seem like they're going to, their attempt is not going to be stopped quite yet. They're able to create enough space to get their team out, and they're going to sacrifice a little bit of health to make sure no one else other than Cap dies, so bit of a sketchy scenario for Witness Gaming. They went a little bit forward too much, but Sin Karma was able to bail them out with a nice trap, and that's going to prevent anything from really happening. So back to the slow-paced style we were expecting, sniper and sentry gun.
This is like deja vu all over again. Yosh just peeking that super deep left angle. I hope that they don't get caught out in that left lobby again, because it's so easy to pounce on someone peeking that deep into the lobby.
And speaking of getting caught out, they get caught out in right lobby. It's going to be a different player this time. Fruit is going to die to a flank coming from Rio, just jumping straight through. And speaking of jumping straight through, he's going to try to go ahead and go for the counter sack, but going to get immediately stopped by Caps. And meanwhile, there's on the other side of the lobby, there's going to be a little bit of a flank happening from Walrus. He gets 1 melee, but not the second. He's trying to dance his way around and try to survive, but his team is no longer with him. He's probably going to fall here. He is. He tries to get help from his demo, who's not going to be able to successfully save his life. And that's no soldiers coming out of the blue team. It's going to be a little bit rough to try to hold these doors. It's pretty much just the sniper, and as I say that, 2 headshots, one of them being a kill, so that's definitely going to hold out your team and allow your soldiers to respawn. Our third one ringing out. Yosh is on fire. He's definitely going for it. Going to miss this one, though. Probably going to die. We do have an Uber get forced out. They're able to lose 2, 1 for the force and 1 for the flank, as Howard trying to go forward and see if he can try to get Virgil to force, but not going to be successful this time.
Jukes.
They do have picks,
Virgil
though.
disrespecting that scout there. Could have popped, but she was just giving him that stutter step, not even popping there. So great stuff out of her. I think they're going to hopefully use this Uber advantage, although they're down 2 already. Wait, big flank coming out of Walrus, getting that soldier pick, and I think that's turned the tides. I was a little worried for Witness Gaming because they were down players, but now it looks like they're going to be able to use this Uber ad to push into second. Although, do they see this sneaky little Howard hiding in a corner? This could be a back cap incoming.
And they lost their demo too to a dead. It seems like they recognize the gun is on last, so the scout is just going to go ahead and go for the force instead. Get 1 shot on Virgil, but not quite successful into the second. A lot of spam coming down on the bridge. They're actually able to lose a scout, and both soldiers getting pretty low. So with Sin Karma not there, it gives incentive for Fruit to try to jump forward and make space for his team, but literally everyone's in this lobby. They're not able to break through the few players that Witness Gaming have. They're making it very difficult, but they're finally able to bust through and successfully get the force on Virgil because they left Virgil alone. Everyone backed up, and Virgil's just out on the bridge alone. Walrus tries to come at the last second and try to get this force, but it's going to be unsuccessful. Gets 2 rockets, but not quite enough to get Lol Guy to force 22 HP. So with both soldiers down, it's going to be probably up to Yosh to get a miracle shot here potentially, as this is a pretty nice spot you want to be in if you're Wonderwall. Full Uberad going into the last point with 1 to 2 players already dead. It's going to be hard for them to screw this up, but it's not too impossible. We'll have to see what kind of door they pick.
Yeah,
Seems
they
like they're
need
going
Sin
left.
to get a blind dead or something to win this push, but nothing happening yet. Uber coming out, getting that kill on the gun instantly, and cap time incoming. This is not looking very good. So much cap time out of that Uber with Howard, and a pick coming out of Walrex. They're just going to step on cap and win the round.
And that
Everyone
is
was
going
so
to be the
huddled
match.
behind point that they couldn't even stop the round from ending. That cap is so hard to defend from behind point, so
Yep,
that's going to be the
unfortunate
match.
scenario. But that's going to be a successful 5-2 victory coming out of Wonderwall. Pretty well deserved. There were some pretty crazy plays coming out of them. Mostly Lol Guy, Howard, and Fruit, but everyone generally played pretty well. And I'm sure they're happy with this because this was definitely a match that, definitely solidified early on if you're going to be able to be in a nice spot to go into playoffs eventually. You definitely don't want to be on the back foot later in the later ends of the season, trying to work your way back up into at least the 4th place spot. So getting this victory is pretty important to make sure you win the head-to-head later on.
Yeah, definitely a big victory coming out of Wonderwall. I mean, I think it's between them and it's probably between them and the Sandblast team. I'm forgetting their name, but the
Morning Light.
the aforementioned, yes, the new version of Forward Gaming, as we are both graduates of. But yes, Morning Light, I think, is going to be the main adversary for Wonderwall, and I think this victory shows that they're not playing around. I mean, the loss earlier, there was a 4-0, I believe, with those 2 teams versus each other. So Lol Guy and friends are showing that they do not want to get knocked out of playoffs. So I think it'll be an uphill battle for Morning Light to even try and make playoffs. But there are 3 head-to-heads So unlike most seasons where there are 9 teams, there are only 6 teams. So there will be 2 rematches for Morning Light to play against Wonderwall again. So those guys can try to make that playoffs grind. And for Witness Gaming, they're going to obviously be trying to make playoffs, but it's definitely going to be an uphill battle. I think they need to try and beat these guys the next time they play them. And after that definitive of a match, I think they might just decide that Metalworks isn't their map or something like that, because those mids were pretty sad. I mean, they just got locked out so hard by those middles that they couldn't really claw their way out of last. I mean, they got a couple opportunities, but once you lose those mids and once your soldiers aren't really able to kill the enemy medic, there's not really much you can do on this map. So yeah, we'll have to see what their bans and what their playstyle is coming into the next head-to-head versus Wonderwall, but that's got to be a disappointing loss. And I'd be curious to see what their combo looks like in the future, because as we said before the game, this was sort of a last minute change between Yosh and Smiles swapping up on flank and combo. So it might end up being swapped back. I mean, well, only time will tell, I suppose. But maybe we can look at the stats from this game. Do you notice anything too outlier? I mean, I see Fruitaloo getting a lot of kills and a lot of damage. I mean, the soldiers for Wonderwall were definitely putting in their work. That's what I can see. But nothing else too extraordinary from my point of view, at least.
Yeah, most of the stats look relatively similar, not too far apart. The only thing that I want to point out is, like you said, the theme of Fruit being the only positive KD soldier in the server is definitely a good thing for Wonderwall, allowing yourself to have a soldier that's making plays nonstop and successfully getting the kills and even living off that is definitely something you want from Metalworks in particular. So I would call him like the rock that definitely kept their team together for at least this map and this match. But other
Yeah,
than
for
that,
sure.
yeah, not too much. You can't see it. I do want to kind of think about. We can probably look manually about how many times Virgil dropped, because I'm pretty sure Guy didn't drop maybe once, if that, this match. And Virgil, I can think of maybe like 3 or 4 times. So it's definitely not a good position you want to be in. Everyone has those days, but at the end of the day, many of those Uber drops were a little bit detrimental to holding certain points, so that's definitely not something you want to happen. So, been unfortunate. Team has to try to work together to make sure that that doesn't happen too much in the future.
Yeah, 4 drops out of Virgil that game. A lot of them were to those Howard flanks, and that was just very messy gameplay. So I think they'll definitely be wanting to clean up what they're doing, get more on the same page next time they play this team. And it's a little bit understandable. I mean, swapping your main caller and your main combo scout 2 days before your match, it's understandable that you're going to be missing a little bit of that cohesion that you sort of built up in the pregame. But we do actually see 2 drops on Law Guy, so not entirely without failure on the red team, but Law Guy's still having 5 deaths despite those 2 drops. I think he was definitely playing excellently, so great stuff out of Wonderwall. And I wanted to say also, the sort of who doesn't get all the credit, Sam going 20 and 10 on demo, holding down the line with 266 DPM, outdamaged by Sin slightly, but he did not die very often. He was always in the correct positions, and he was able to output significant amounts of damage. So I think that combo of Fruit and Sam with that spam always coming out was very helpful for holding down those doors and preventing Witness Gaming from getting in for free. And I wanted to say earlier also, it's kind of funny that Fruit is the pocket, but he's the one who's getting all those plays. I mean, traditionally you'd expect it to be the roamer who gets all those crazy plays and med picks, but Fruit was finding the opportunities and was almost like walking on water, finding this homing missile, looking for Virgil on last, and he always seemed to find her. So very good timing out of him to get those kills on a pocket, which is traditionally more of the sort of passive soldier. So great stuff out of him.
Yep, and it appears with that, the match is over. We don't necessarily have an interview lined up. Not going to happen this time. Maybe in the future weeks, they'll have to see. We'll have some interesting questions for players as they continue their trek to make playoffs, and we'll kind of see what's up. But that's pretty much it for us at the very least. Not a whole lot more to do here. Bear, do you have any shoutouts before we cut the stream and get ready to head out?
Yeah, shout out to Witness for sponsoring this team. He is the homie, given that league fees, and I think he even bought a new mic for Sin. So big shout out to him. Also, just shout out to everyone on my team that I'm coaching, or coaching in quotations. Haven't been doing too much coaching, but shout out to all those guys. They're keeping it up. Having a rough night tonight, but I think they can definitely come back from it.
And shout out to Dolphin, as always, for the production. Wouldn't be here without you. Definitely bringing the content people want to see, so claps in the chat for Dolphin. But besides that, I think we're pretty much done here. So that was the second match of week 2 of Wonderwall versus their opponent, Witness Gaming. And that's going to be it for us, and we hope to see you next time. So peace out.